Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received, and the translation of that message, it reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my story as anonymous? I am a South African woman and I am only aged 30 years old. You won't believe how much I have lost since lockdown. I have lost the house that was left for me by my father, but he left it in my mother's name. Then my mom passed away and this house, it was handed down to me. There was even a time when my auntie said that she wanted still to be my guardian, but I refused and I said no. I also have kids because I had 3 kids, now I have 2. The other one I have since sacrificed that child, and I said I am old now, and I was suspecting that my auntie, she wanted the house to be in her name so that she can give it to her sons. So I refused totally and I said no, this is the house that was left for me by my own mother. If someone would have told me that this house that had left for me by my mother, it was going to belong to someone else after I would have sold it to a traditional healer that is from Malawi, I would say that it is a lie. No, nothing will ever happen to my parents' house. I will never let that happen. But it has since happened. I have lost the house. I have lost the little money that I made from the rituals that I did, thinking that I was going to become super rich. And I have also sacrificed my child. And this healer, I'm still in communication with that woman, quite an evil woman she is. She is still insisting that I still have to do one more sacrifices with all the things that I have sacrificed. Yet she is saying that if I do one more sacrifice, then what is going to happen is that I'm going to be so rich, so much that I can even buy a house. Even if I blink, there will be money in my account that will be enough to buy a house, and I can never have to worry anymore about the house that I lost that once belonged to my parents. Let me take you back. My mother and my father, they loved each other. They were both working as nurses. Yes, my father, he was a male nurse, and they managed to buy the house, but through the bank, and they managed to settle this house just before the divorce. After they had settled the house with the bank, and then my father started to date a younger woman, and they fought so bitterly, like with my mom, and they had a divorce because my father was saying that he wanted to have 2 wives according to the culture. He wanted to have a polygamy, but my mom then refused and said that she was unwilling to share him with another woman. She was scared that polygamy will bring forth witchcraft into the family when the women are fighting against each other. So my mom then chose to walk away. But one thing that my mother did was that she made sure that this house was not going to be sold, and my father also respected that. And my father said that this house, when he had bought it, he bought this house for me, and he made sure that he built another house somewhere but in the locations, because this house, it was in the suburbs. So my father moved out and he started staying in the location in an RDP. Then at the house, they put some tenants and they used to collect the money. They had divided with my mom that the other rooms, they belonged to my mom, then the other rooms, they belonged to my father. So month end, we used to go there and we would even meet my father and his kids and the new wife, and as they will be collecting their rent money, that was the time that we will have a small family get together. But with my mom, they hated each other, that woman, because my mom said that she stole her family, she stole her husband. So when my father passed away, then the house, it now belonged to my mother only. Then after my mom had passed away, then the house was given to me, and I continued just keeping some tenants, but I was now staying in that place. I had my own one room, just being a caretaker, making sure that everything was running according to plan. So later on, that was when I started to communicate with the woman next door, They came a new tenant who was renting the whole house. So this woman that was renting the whole house, the new tenant, she was someone that was from Malawi. I used to be surprised because there were a lot of people that would come to this house, people that had big cars. And the day when I just said, I want to ask this woman, what kind of a business does this woman do? Because in between us, like the stop nonsense, it was not so big. One could see into another's yard. So I would speak with a maid. So on that day, when I was about to ask a maid, that was when she came out, and I said, let me just ask the woman herself. And they said, but what do you do? Right now I see that there are 10 taxis that are parked here. Some were parked inside and some were parked outside. All of them, they were brand new taxis, and they still did not have number plates yet. And she told me that the taxis, they belonged to this other big taxi boss here in Gauteng, who had recently added those 10 taxis to his fleet, and he just wanted that woman to bless him. And I said, oh, so are you a pastor? Do you have a church? What happens? And then she told me that she was a sangoma. And I was like, oh, you are a sangoma? And then she said, yes, I am a sangoma. And I said, can you also assist me because I need money? So I was just joking, that is how it started. And she said, I want you to come to my consultation room. There is something that your father wants to tell you. You have to come. Now that I am speaking with you, I am hearing his voice, but he is stuck somewhere in between the mountains in KZN. He is unable to get out of this other cave. He wants to speak with his daughter. Please come to my consultation room and bring at least 100 rand. And I said, okay. So I walked to the mall where I withdrew some money and I returned back. And then I went and I started speaking with her. So the woman then took the money from me and the consultation then began. She then started to tell me like she was acting as if she was in a trance, and she said that she saw where my father's spirit was. And I said, how was it even possible that my father's spirit was caught up in KZN in a village somewhere in between the mountains, yet we had buried my father at a cemetery here in Johannesburg? And that woman then said to me, it is because your family, they come from KZN, so when you die you go to that very place where your ancestors come from. So your father is there, but they have rejected him because he never consulted with them when he was still alive. So they are saying that we do not know you. So he is stranded in a cave. He does not know where to turn to. Therefore, he is calling out to his daughter. Amongst all his kids, you are the one that he loved the most, and you are the one that can listen to his voice. The other ones, they will refuse to help him to return back to his ancestors. So then I said, what are we supposed to do? She then started to burn some herbs. Whilst she was burning those herbs, then I heard her. She spoke. This woman was from Malawi. All along we were talking in English, but then she switched and she started to speak in perfect isiZulu, and she was talking as if she was my dad. And I was like, Dad, is that you? And then he said that it is I, my daughter. Thank you. You have heard my voice. Where I am unable to navigate through the cave so that I can get out of the cave and to be free, and I want you to help me so that my ancestors can accept me back into the clan again, for they are saying that they do not know me. My father then said everything, and at that time I was trembling with joy and fear. It felt so magical being able to speak with your dead relative. So the other women that were there, they were busy writing everything that my dad had told me, like there was a goat that was supposed to be killed, and then the meat was supposed to be eaten without salt, and we had to pour beer onto the ground and to worship the ancestors. And that was what we did. But this took about a month because I was waiting for the tenants to pay me so that I can buy a goat. When I bought the goat, then we had that little ceremony. From there on, I started to enter into successful relationships with men that had money, things that were not happening before that. So this woman then suggested that since I had once said that I wanted to be rich, like I could come back into the shrine and then that woman could assist me to become rich. That is where it all started, Brother Nashi. I regret I should have never done something like that. But my brother, when you are chasing money, you end up doing things that you should not be doing anyway. So then I went back to the shrine and I spoke with her, and she told me everything that was needed. I did not even know that what I was about to do, I'll end up sacrificing my child. I agreed because I was already deep into this whole thing. She told me that I was supposed to go to my father's grave. I went with her. We collected some soil and we kept on clapping as she was collecting soil from the grave, and we returned back. And then she told me that the money was already there. She said that there was more than 20 million that was in the spiritual realm. This money, it was needed to come into the physical realm, but in order for that, there was money that was needed for the money to be brought into the physical realm. And I said, like, how much? She then said, we need at least 2-point-something million so that this money can be brought into this physical realm. And I said, where will I get so much money? That was when she said, your father is saying that you can sell the house. I thought about it and I said, to sell the house? Why would I sell the house? She said, so that you can be able to get this money. If you want, let us go to your father's grave. You're going to hear your father's voice. We then returned back to my father's grave. Whilst we were there, she told me that I was supposed to kneel down, but they were kneeling down where my father's feet were, whilst I was kneeling down close to where my father's head was lying. And then I heard my father's voice. I clearly heard him. Even the soil, it was shaking close to the place where I was kneeling, because I could hear the voice that was coming out of the earth. And this was my father, clearly, that was speaking with me. My father said these words, my daughter, do not be afraid. This money, I know where it is. I have seen it. This money is going to come to you. It is the money that I want you to use to take care of my grandchildren, your children. But when you get this money, do not forget about your siblings. It does not matter that they were born of another woman who was not your mother, but you are all my seed. 5 of you, you are all my seed, and I want you to be helping each other. And now that I have chosen you to give you all of this money, I want you to help out your brothers so that they can be wealth forever in this generation. When I rest, I want to rest. I want to rest with my ancestors, to know more about my clan. I want to go and walk and to return back to the original man who created our clan, who is our ancestor. So I do not want to return back to the land of the living thinking about what my children are eating, if you are having money or not. Please help me to rest in peace. That was what my father told me, but he was speaking to me in isiZulu. So then that was when we returned back home. I sat down and I said, so this is the house that I'm going to sell. So then I had to look for someone who was an attorney, and I spoke with that person, and I told the person that I was thinking of selling the house. Since the house was already in my name, it was not going to be a very big deal. And this traditional healer told me that there was someone already who is also a taxi boss who had been looking for a house to buy, because he has taxis, but he is also into buying houses. I think that this is the deal that they do. They target people that have properties, and they make you to do all of these crazy rituals. And when you are suffering, then they'll let you sell your house. So then I agreed. After the attorney had spoken with the bank, and then the house was put out for the market, they came, they evaluated the property, they gave me, and they said that the house, it was going to be sold for 1.8 million, and that money, it was given to me, and the whole process was done, and the house was no longer mine. So I had to pay. Remember that there was money that was needed. needed. So that traditional healer then said that she had spoken with her ancestors. Instead of the 2 million that I was supposed to pay her, I was unable because there is a lot of money that is taken, like tax and everything. So the only amount that I got from there, it was close to 1.5, including the attorney fees and everything. So with that money, then I was only able to get 100k because I said I need something from the sale of this property, even though I'm going to get something else. I ended up giving that woman 1.3 mil that I gave to her, and this lady, she took that money and she said that she was going to Malawi. She would be back soon. And then when she took some time, I started complaining, and then she told me to do a ritual again at my father's grave. I had hope when I did those rituals, because when I returned back home, I was then told to sacrifice my daughter for more money to come, because when I returned back, I saw that there was 70k, which was inside this other old car that once belonged to my father. Like, that car was no longer working, and I was told that there was money that was in there. I searched and I saw that indeed there was money, and I was told to go back to my father's grave, and I went and I told my father that it was okay. I was willing to offer the blood of my daughter for the other money to be brought back into this real world, but no money ever came. Right now, I'm still speaking with this Malawian witch doctor. She is now saying that if I can just perform another final sacrifice, then it means that I am going to get all the money that I was supposed to get in the first place. I really need advice. I have already lost my mother's and my father's house, and I am regretting a lot. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our admin who helped us with this translation. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. Let us try to speak with our dear sister in the comment section. So many rituals that she was forced to do, and she actually saw the money and she believed that this was going to happen. If you have ever done any rituals, please do not hesitate to come to my inbox and share with me your side of the story.